It's late at night on May the 4th, so you know what that means. Talking about Star Wars while eating pizza. I'll actually do Domino's pizza for real in this video, not like the last video. And as you probably expect from that video, it's not going to be good. Domino's projects this ethos of the everyman pizza, the company for pizza, we're pizza people. But in my opinion, they are the absolute worst of the three major pizza chains. I mean, look at this fucking box. What makes a great pizza? Here's a hint, nothing in this box. Is it the toppings? Not your fucking pepperoni. It didn't add any spice or savory flavor to the pizza at all, just unwanted fucking grease. Could it be the sauce? What sauce? There was barely any. Is it leftover ability? Hell no. Not only could I not finish this pizza, a rarity for me, I couldn't even bring myself to eat it after getting it out of the fridge. I had to give it to someone else. Upon retrospect, I actually feel pretty bad about doing that. I should apologize to that person. Is it tracking your pizza with the Domino's tracker? It tracks pizza and works, I suppose. Whatever. How about our crust? How about no? Is it the cheese? The best part of pizza? Not the bland banal bullshit that you call cheese. I'd rather lick the bottom of my foot. Again. What an absolute failure of a pizza. In all fairness, I have had better Domino's pizzas in the past, even from this location, but this is the biggest pizza fuck up I've had in years. Hell, I've tasted better pizzas in my high school home ec class. Let's just get to the topic at hand before I go crazy ranting about how awful this pizza is. Oh right. It's Star Wars Day, so let's talk about Star Wars. That's sure to brighten up my mood, right? Right? Before I get into Star Wars, I want to preface this by saying, since I can't really use footage from the movies, I'm going to use footage from various video games. I'm going to show footage from shit I think is cool, and I hope you think is cool too. And not just footage from Jedi the Fallen Order or the latest Battlefront game like a Leafy is Here wannabe. Also, a little side rant. Star Wars Day is fucking stupid. May the 4th be with you? What the fuck is this dad joke shit? Why don't we just make Star Wars Day May the 25th? You know, the day that Star Wars Episode 4 originally debuted in theaters. Instead, we have Star Wars Day on the 4th for some piss poor pun. On to the topic at hand. I just don't consider myself a Star Wars fan anymore. You probably think it's because I hate these new movies and that's why I don't like Star Wars anymore, but that's not the case. It's actually for a few reasons. I plan on having the next few opinion pizzas cover Star Wars, so for right now I'll just give a brief summary, maybe a thesis if you will, on why I don't consider myself a Star Wars fan anymore. First off, the fandom and the general community around Star Wars is just so negative. I just get a sense of antipathy and polarization from the communities I observe and the people I talk to about Star Wars. I constantly hear, oh, these new movies are way worse than the prequels, or I like the spin-off movies but I hate the main movies, or all these movies suck, just watch The Mandalorian. I don't remember the last time I got into a conversation about how the other person I just love Star Wars. Hell, having to list which movies and TV shows you like in this series is a prerequisite for having a conversation about the franchise. I guess I'll just say real fast that I obviously love the original trilogy. I thought the prequels were dog shit. I haven't bothered watching any of them again since they came out in theaters. I like episodes 7 and 8, despite their flaws. I liked Solo, Rogue One was alright, and episode 9 left a bad taste in my mouth. So-called fans always have some sort of caveat when describing their fandom. This leaves me wondering, can I, or anyone else for that matter, be considered a fan of a franchise we're so discriminative towards? Now, I'm not saying that you have to enjoy every single thing in a series or a franchise to be considered a fan, but I do think you need to enjoy a majority of the material. It's like if I were to call myself a Metallica fan when I really only love the first 4 albums. A better comparison would be with Sonic the Hedgehog. I have incredible memories of playing those games as a little kid that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. And since then, there have been a few really standout titles, and more than a few titles that were just shit. With such wild swings in quality, I find myself thankful that something just doesn't suck. To me, someone who greatly enjoys a few entries in a franchise and doesn't feel pain experiencing the majority of it doesn't constitute a fan. I also just gradually lost interest in Star Wars. For years I didn't know why, but I eventually figured out the two reasons. First is the stripping away of the expanded universe canon. Even though I hate it, I completely understand why Disney did it. The amount of pre-existing lore and backstory made it nearly impossible for a filmmaker to come up with a fresh new idea for a story. Sure, one of the expanded universe novels could have been adapted, but that brings its own host of problems. For starters, which one are you going to adapt? What are you going to do next? How are you going to handle Chewie getting crushed by a fucking moon? Around every corner is a new minefield for Disney, so stripping away the expanded universe was practically a necessary evil. I completely understood why Disney stripped away the expanded universe, but it still sapped away my interest in the franchise. I eventually figured out why, and it's not the most rational of reasons. The rational thing would have been to say, oh, this reboot doesn't affect my favorite books or video games just because they're not canon doesn't mean they're any less good. And on the plus side, there's a ton of new shit to enjoy. But I'm not rational when it comes to Star Wars. It's like if I were to sink hundreds of hours into an RPG and then suddenly my save got corrupted or erased or deleted. Yeah, I didn't really lose anything of value, and even regaining what I had lost would actually be fun, but just that massive loss of progress is really discouraging. Having all those novels, comics, games, and miscellanea just Thanos snapped away makes it all feel so worthless, and that was really only the movies that mattered. And upon reflection, I think it is only the movies that really matter. At any time, Disney can remove any non-film media from the canon. Disney's not going to remove any of the movies from the canon, and because of that, I haven't bothered with any of the non-film media in this current continuity. This other reason really pissed me off and contributed more to my disinterest than I thought it would. That's the neutering of LucasArts and having Electronic Arts be the sole game developers for the franchise. I know there are other developers involved for non-PC, non-console games, but frankly I don't give a shit about any of those. LucasArts in his heyday was fucking amazing, and even past then they were still pretty damn good. Of course, Star Wars influenced filmmaking, but it also greatly influenced video game development too. Star Wars Rebel Assault was among the first killer apps to encourage people to upgrade to CD-ROM drives. Dark Forces improved on Doom's first-person shooter formula, and Republic Commando had impressive AI, along with a streamlined partner command interface to match. And those are just the games that LucasArts themselves developed off the top of my head. If we include games that LucasArts either published or co-developed, we get more genre-defining classics like Super Star Wars, X-Wing, and Empire at War. And I have no reason to think that anything coming out of EA will reach that level of magnitude. Maybe if EA handed the franchise back to BioWare, but they're busy enough with the Old Republic. The most exciting recent EA things I can think of are Titanfall, an OK Battle Royale, and Battlefield 5 having ray tracing. Yay. So yeah, Disney can go fuck itself on that one. Now, I'll always love the original trilogy and those games from the 80s to the mid-noughties. Disney hasn't and can't affect my opinion on those. So a part of me will always at least love some part of Star Wars. Hell, I'm wearing a Darth Vader shirt while recording this. I'll continue to like and share memes, rewatch the original trilogy, and replay my favorite games. I think I should just turn in my Star Wars fan badge. And there you have it, a quick overview of why I don't consider myself a Star Wars fan anymore. I really hope you enjoyed this video and didn't find me too cringy. I plan to do a couple more Star Wars videos going a bit more into detail about my opinion on the franchise and just the state of things. I also hope you like the gameplay footage I've been showing, because there will be more footage of mods, prototypes, etc. in the next video. Thanks for watching and hope to see you soon.